Thank you. I move the motion. What do the billionaires who run the world do when we, the people, realise how much has been stolen from us? How much money, how much sovereignty, how much opportunity? In the next few minutes, it will become obvious what this has to do with the Misinformation and Disinformation Bill, MAD, MAD for short. The world's predatory billionaires do not wield their power directly. They hide behind wealth funds such as BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street and First State. These funds act in concert with political change agents, including large superannuation and sovereign wealth funds such as Norges. The racket these subversive elements are running really is racketeering. They use their wealth to buy shares in companies that are then required to follow the agenda. This is not my opinion. These are the exact words of BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. Buying out Western civilization is an expensive business. The never-ending quest for more money and more power and more control is being noticed and resisted. Much of that resistance has been a result of Elon Musk buying X and allowing the truth to live in one mainstream forum. The minute the BlackRock racketeers walk into a boardroom, any notion of public interest is abandoned. A case in point is Coles and Woolies, who used to pride themselves on providing the necessities of life, food and clothing, at the lowest possible price through competition. With the presence of an almost complete set of predatory wealth funds on their share registers, in recent years Coles and Woolies no longer compete against each other. Instead, they collude to pursue a pricing strategy designed to maximise profit from our necessities of life. Profit that's sent overseas into the coffers of these sovereign wealth funds, leaving Australians permanently poorer. In 2022-23, around an election, Woolies donated $110,000 to the ALP. In 2022-23, other industries under the control of these predatory wealth funds, including the big pharmaceutical industry that donated $1 million to the ALP. What do they get for their money? Last Tuesday, I spoke in favour of the Community Affairs Committee inquiry report into a prospective terms of reference for a Royal Commission into COVID response. Despite me simply agreeing with the committee report, and despite my using only peer-reviewed and published science to support my position, Senator Ayres from the Labor Party chose to describe my words as, quote, listen to this, damaging misinformation and disinformation. There is a reason why the ASIO Director-General highlights the role of extremist misinformation and disinformation in terms of its corrosive effect. It does lead to some of the acts of violent extremism here and overseas, motivated by the same vile conspiracy theories that we've just heard. Wow. What a rant. No data, no argument, just empty labels. Our New Zealand friends started their Royal Commission into COVID in December 2022. New Zealand has now decided the Royal Commission unearthed so much behaviour that was cause for concern. They've expanded the Royal Commission to include looking into COVID in much greater depth, including vaccine harm. The New Zealand Royal Commission now closely resembles the Royal Commission the Senate Standing Committee on Community Affairs recommended following their inquiry initiated on a One Nation referral. For Senator Ayres to say this is extremist misinformation and disinformation, likely to lead to acts of violent extremism, is a complete slap in the face to New Zealand's Royal Commission, and one that Senator Ayres would be well advised to reconsider. This is the trouble when the government panics that $1 million in donations is at risk excuse me, and brings on a bill that will shut up any opposition to the rule of the billionaires through their front companies. In this case, pharmaceutical companies, a rule that is quite simply a threat to the future of our beautiful country. With total clarity, Senator Ayres has drawn the battle lines here. What's the truth in New Zealand Parliament is extremist misinformation and disinformation in Australia, if the Ayres government says it is. This bill has no protections, no checks and balances. It should rightly be renamed the Crush Any Opposition to the Billionaires Bill. While the Labor Party's desire for totalitarian censorship is no surprise, the people need be aware the Morrison Littleproud Liberal Nationals introduced this bill. Opposition Leader Dutton makes no indication whether he intends to oppose the bill. I guess because when he gets in, he'll be happy to use its onerous provisions. While I don't have time to go into the Liberal Party's donations from companies under the control of the world's predatory billionaires, the same issue affects both parties. The Morrison Littleproud government kept the COVID vaccine contracts hidden from our request to make the contracts public for those who paid for the injections, taxpayers. The temptation to have extra money to spend in an election campaign has proven far too tempting for the major parties and their independents. Their objectivity, their common sense, that have been compromised. The world's predatory billionaires' downfall will be their hubris. The question is, who will go down with them?